In this video, I'll be talking about another great new feature of Carlson SurvPC version 7. Those who are familiar with SurvPC will know that for many years we've worked closely with Esri to allow integration of their GIS database files into SurvPC. In previous versions, like version 5 or 6, this was achieved by running the Esri engine on your data collector and running natively inside the Esri MXD file. In version 7, we're excited to introduce an even easier way to use Esri, which is complete integration with the Esri ArcGIS online database. Let's jump in and have a look. The first thing I want to do is point out some requirements for using this new feature, and the first thing is that you're using the 64-bit version of SurvPC. This is the version that we installed by default, so you should have it, but just in case, go ahead and double check on the File About screen that you see about Carlson SurvPC x64. If you don't see x64 here, you may need to go and install the 64-bit version. The next thing is that you'll need internet connectivity in the field, which means you're going to need a SIM card inside your tablet or a connection to a Wi-Fi hotspot to use this feature. And finally, you're going to need your Esri ArcGIS online login. This is the same login that you would use for Esri Collector or any other native Esri app to log into your online database. Now let's go ahead and try this out. To create an Esri job, I'm going to go to File, Job, and I'll just call my job maybe Esri 6.12, which is today. And you'll notice there's this new checkbox here in the bottom right, this ArcGIS Online checkbox. This is how I tell the software that the job I'm creating is going to be used with the Esri database. So I'll go ahead and turn that on, and then I'll hit the green check. And immediately I get the login screen for my Esri portal. So this is the same portal and login that you would be using if you were using Esri Collector or any other native Esri app. So I'm going to go ahead and type in my login, which is swinter_Carlson, and my temporary password, and go ahead and press Get Map to choose which map I'm going to associate with my job. Now, any Esri job can only have one map associated with it, so I'm going to get this pop-up that allows me to explore my Esri content. If you're an Esri user, you may find this to be very familiar. You'll see in this drop-down we have access to my content, my favorites, my groups, and my organization. If I were to look at this portal on the website, let's just pull it over and have a look. Here we have the same web address, and I've logged in using my same username and password. Now if I go over into my content screen where I would look at my maps, we'll see that we have my content, my favorites, my groups, and my organization. So SurvPC is really mimicking the maps that are available through the portal. And I'm just going to go ahead and choose this Carlton HQ map that's right here in Maysville, Kentucky to play around with. Now that we've tied this particular Esri map to our job, let's jump over to the map screen by clicking on the globe in the upper right-hand corner. And the first thing you're going to notice is that you no longer have the Carlson map background you're familiar with. But what we're seeing here is the Esri map for the Carlson HQ map. So this is going to be whatever map background has been defined by the person who designed the Esri database. So if I were to go over into the portal through the website again, and I go to this Carlson HQ map, and I choose Open in Map Viewer, I'm going to see a map background that is identical to what I'm seeing in SurvPC, as well as all the features that already exist on this map. So this is a great opportunity to talk about all of the benefits of doing your Esri survey inside of Carlson SurvPC. For starters, you have access to all the professional survey features of SurvPC that you're familiar with, including our industry-leading driver library and our high-accuracy RTK positioning. You can use your regular feature coding and your features to get the job done, including field to finish. And when you need an added Esri feature, we'll give you access to all the GIS attributes automatically and populate the RTK position, and then we'll push that position up to the Esri online database for immediate access by other database users. Also, when other database users are adding data to the map, this will immediately be pulled down into your SurvPC copy. In addition to the library data and being able to access all the Esri features online, a copy of everything you measure will be stored inside the Carlson CRD file for backup. Let's take a look at how this all actually works in the background. From my map view, if I go to View, Layers, I see a different look of my layer screen than what I'm used to. So at the top I have Carlson Points and Carlson Line Work, and I can turn those on and off if I want to show only the Esri data on my map. And then below that, I have all the different features that are available in this particular map. So in this one, there are 5: statues, fire hydrant, manhole, water meter, and TST. So for each of these features, I can assign a cross and feature code. So this is how it's all going to tie together. So I'm going to tap on statues, and I'll just say add code. And I'm going to call this an ST for statue, or I'll get S2, STAT for statue. And let's go ahead and add one for fire hydrant as well. We'll call it the FH code. Now, if you're a company that's using this, you may have one person who sets up your feature coding for the whole company, and they just share around a feature code file. I'm just doing this to show how the setup works. So I'm going to call this FH for fire hydrant. And I'll just screen check that. And you can see my code now is defined as FH down here. So if I jump over and I go into store points now, I can see my Esri map and my current position. And I'm able to walk around storing as many points on this map as I like. And these are just regular CRD points inside my regular survey job. When I'm ready to store something inside of Esri, all I need to do is type in the appropriate feature code that we've just assigned. So let's suppose we add a little statue inside this park that's right by the Carlson office. So we have some beautiful new limestone statues here in the park. I'm just going to go over here, slow my simulator down, and we're going to type in STAT for statue. That's the feature code we assigned to it. And we're going to press store. And because this feature code was associated with this Esri feature, it's going to go ahead and bring down all of the GIS data that is associated with this particular feature layer. So here we have pre-populated the horizontal accuracy and the vertical accuracy and the latitude and longitude, all from the GPS that we're connected to, including the receiver name. And we've also got the PDOP, the HDOP, the VDOP. All this is happening automatically, including the number of satellites, the fixed time, all this, anything we can pre-populate, we do. And then finally we get over into the only things that the user needs to type in, which is the material and condition of the statue. And I've typed in limestone here because it's a limestone statue, and condition 10 because it happens to be a brand new statue put in by Carlson Software. So I'll just go ahead and press save. And we've now added this statue over to our map in Esri. So at this point I can jump back over into my Esri map, and if I just hit refresh to get a fresh copy of this map, I will see my new statue is now on the map, so that means anyone who's also using this database will see it. And I can tap on this in Esri to get all the attributes that I've just updated, everything coming from SurvPC automatically. Here's our limestone material. Here's our accurate GPS position that's now corrected in the database. Many times when people are doing this, all they're trying to do is to correct the position. So maybe you have just a guesswork in terms of the positioning on the map, and then you can come back with your RTK receiver and update that to an accurate position to a couple of centimeters. That may be what you're doing with your Esri map. So in this case, we placed this with an RTK position, and it's available on the map now. And back over in SurvPC, if I go over to my point list, of course, this point 6 with the description STAT is right here in the point list, and this is inside my CRD file. So I've got a backup of this point inside my job file, or if I need it to be in my job file in addition to the database, that is happening automatically. Besides adding features to the Esri map, the other big task that Esri users may find themselves doing is updating the positioning of items that are already in the Esri map. So if I, for instance, have a map of maybe I have water meters in my entire city that are already mapped out with just a guess of a position. Sometimes they've just clicked on it on the map, or maybe it was done with a lower accuracy GPS, and you need to update it to your RTK position. You may need to stake these items out. So one of the features that we've added for Esri is if you go to Equip, Configure, you go to Stakeout, there's these style of stakeout modes. So Legacy and Proximity are the stakeout modes that you're familiar with. But we've added a new one called Remeasure. And what Remeasure means is that we are sort of staking out the point, but we're not really trying to find it and mark out how far away we are from it. More so, we're just trying to relocate it and update the position. So if I set this to mode Remeasure, and then we have this radius here, which is basically how good do I think the current position is. So if I know that my guess position that's in there is probably within 20 feet of where it actually is, I'm going to leave this at 20 feet. So it's going to guide me to around 20 feet away from where this is and help me find it. So I'll just go ahead and hit the green check to save these settings. And then I'm going to go to Survey Stake Points. And I can either choose a stakeout point from my point list, or I can actually choose an Esri item that's not necessarily in the point list. So maybe I want to stake out this statue that's over here on the screen, and it's going to pull that in and get the coordinate for it, even though it's not in my CRD point. It's going to let me stake that out and update the position. So I'll just hit the green check, and we're jumping over into our stakeout screen. One of the things that you'll see here is this big blue arrow on the screen. Now, this is something that if you use proximity stakeout, you'll be familiar with this. If not, it may be new. But this blue arrow is using the compass direction of the data collector to guide you to the point, meaning you're going to walk in the direction that the blue arrow is pointing in to get to your point. So out in the field, this is incredibly intuitive. You're just going to hold the data collector and follow the arrow. Here in the office with the simulator, it's a little bit tricky. You can see here that my arrow is pointing up, meaning my simulator is walking in the right direction. So if you zoom in here, you can see that my blue simulator icon is actually heading directly toward this point on the map. So my distance is up here in the top left. I have 114 feet away from this point, or where the previous location of the point was. So we'll just start walking that direction to get a little bit closer. And you'll see that when I went under that 20-foot barrier there, my icon briefly turned yellow to indicate that I was getting within tolerance. Let's see how close we can get. Now again, the position that we're chasing here may not be the right position. So in this scenario, you may be actually just trying to locate something that's physically in the field to update the position. So here we can see we've gotten down to within a foot of the previous position. And we start to get these other indicators telling me that I need to push and pull left and right to find the exact position. But realistically, I'm just going to walk up to this item on the map that I have now found physically in the field, and I'm going to press the store button. And it's going to show me the previous position and the new position, and I'll just press the green check. And that is going to update that item is the Esri map to give it a new RTK position and a new timestamp to indicate that it has been updated in the field. I hope this video has been helpful in getting you started using the new Esri integration in SurvPC7. As always, if you have any questions or you want to give feedback, Carlson Support is available to answer your questions. You can always contact them at support@carlsonsw.com or call us at our main office number at 606-564-5028. Thank you.